emphasis now in this phase of the grant to focus on sexual reproductive health. Sex workers, when you get them into a clinic, you need to offer them as many services as possible. Also, just because they're a sex worker doesn't mean that they just need an HIV service. They need pap smears. They are women. They are mothers. And so they need their glucose checked and their cholesterol checked, and they need to be given a full package. And then we're focusing a lot more on adherence. So we've got peers that are trained, peers and site coordinators that are trained on IACT to run IACT groups of sex workers that are being initiated. We are starting training on adherence clubs. We also do risk reduction workshops that are also known as creative spaces, which provide sex workers with a space to come together, to share challenges, to discuss, to sing, to pray, to talk about issues. And it's also a space to get stakeholders from communities in to talk to the sex workers, like the police, nurses. And I know Lifeline has involved, particularly in the Ugu district, DOH always comes to a lot of the creative spaces to talk to the sex workers. We also have condom and lubricant distribution with condom demonstrations at every point, and peer educators provide that. We also, on a national level, fund the Sweat National Helpline for sex workers. We also fund Sisonke in 6 provinces across the country, and in KZN there's a strong linkage between Lifeline Durban and Sisonke so that human rights violations can be dealt with effectively, and if there are cases that can go in for legal action, we can follow that through and make sure that that actually happens, so that there isn't constantly human rights violations against sex workers and no action is taken. Well, very little. I mean, it's incredibly difficult. And so essentially that is how the program and how we implement. Lifeline Durban currently implements in 3 sub-districts in 29 wards, and we are currently doing mapping in, I practice this, Umziwa Bantu. And so we're currently doing mapping there because we do know there's a massive trucking route to the Eastern Cape, and so it's incredibly important that we are reaching the sex workers there. I mean, the data that we get in Ugu is that there's a massive amount of sex workers, but there's a lot of movement. So I think the size estimation is probably a lot lower. The current size estimation that we have is a lot lower than the numbers we are seeing of sex workers that get serviced. So just a few achievements. I mean, the program in Ugu, KZN, has been ongoing since 2013. Currently, Lifeline Durban's reaching a cohort of approximately 2,734 sex workers in the 3 sub-districts, which will definitely increase once we go into the 4th. And also Lifeline Durban's also just opened a drop-in centre for sex workers, and we have a dedicated nurse there now, and we're working with DOH to get PrEP into that drop-in centre. A particular element of the Global Fund Sex Work Program is that we really want to focus a lot more on the mental health elements and psychosocial support, because we believe that has a massive impact on whether I'm able to stay negative, or if I am positive, whether I am able to go on treatment and stay on treatment. And so, we place a lot of emphasis on providing counselling and adherence support, and also just dealing with post-traumatic stress disorder in sex workers, because we're finding that that is a massive issue. We also have peers trained as human rights defenders in order to basically deal with any human rights violation that happens and link directly with Sisonke. Peers that are HTS counsellors for sex workers who would prefer to get tested by peer, and IACT facilitators.